John,
Mm.
Said said because he couldn't find someone to cover up, so he said it would be good if it's recording. So did Mustaq, so did Gemma, so did
Okay.
Emmanuel.
I've started recording, so we're fine.
Oh, okay, good, good. Because I've been trying to hammer everybody.
Yeah, I saw several people from the online club said they wanted to see the video recording, but
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
tonight.
Oh, good. It's nice to see other people from
It's
other
not letting me
clubs.
log on. I've got the. Oh, hang on. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so as I say, if I think
Let's delete. I'm trying to log on to.
Get logged on.
sorry, Louise, what's the question?
I was asking if you have any suggestions on how to decide which pathway to take.
Well, the good news for you is that if you're new, you've only got 6 paths to choose from now. We used to have 11. So what Toastmasters International have done have reduced it down to 6 based on the 6 that were the most commonly used. What I'll show you in a minute is that there's an assessment that you can do. And if you do that assessment, it may actually give you it will give you some advice on which path they think from your assessment, the way you answered the assessment would be the best path for you. But we'll go and have a quick look in a minute. For some reason,
John,
yeah.
I've just. I know that. Oh, who's the treasurer? He'd actually.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt. He's done my membership, but it's not actually showing up yet on the site. So I'm just
No,
opened up. I can log on because I've already, I joined all that time ago, but it's just showing that I don't belong to a club or anything at the moment, that I haven't
yeah,
paid any membership
although he's
over.
put your membership through today, it probably won't register
Yes,
Toastmasters until
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the problem.
So I won't be able to do anything on here, will I? Just won't
No,
be.
but not to worry. I mean, if you've got the video and if you get the gist of what we're going to cover, you'll
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you
So
can always go back and have
yeah,
another
that'll
look
be
at
that'll
the
be
video.
sent out, emailed out at the end of the meeting, will it?
Yeah, it'll go out tonight or tomorrow.
Fantastic.
So, John, just a quick question. So we are
Hmm.
all on www.org pathways,
Yeah, toastmasters.org.
right?
I'm going to bring that up now. I'm going to share my screen. I still don't know why Roma's camera's not working.
No, I've gone in and out and in and out, but
Okay.
so but I can hear you and I can see you. It's just that you can't see me.
Okay.
Hmm.
Right. I'm going to share my screen, which is the Toastmasters International website. So hopefully that looks okay to you, does it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's feasible.
Yeah. So when you log on, and you need to put a password in for the first time if you've not logged on before. But once you've got through there, you'll see this thing comes up at the top of the screen. Welcome. The sensible thing to look at is My Home. So if you click on My Home, this screen comes up. Now mine's going to be slightly different to, it'll be the same as Tima's, but this one will show club officers screens as well. So you've got the basic things here of go to Basecamp, the Learning Hub, and your achievements, your awards and recognition. But anybody that is a club officer gets access to these other things as well under Leadership Central. So as a club officer, I've got access to my clubs. I've got information on club officer roles and club officer tutorials. And then there's some other various things down on the bottom of the page. And I'm going to go into distinguished performance reports in a bit.
Mine is just logging. There's
Yeah.
a problem in logging in.
So if there's any questions, if you want to put those in chat as
Quick
we go
update.
through, and then I'll try and answer them. But by all means, I mean, there's not
Yeah,
many of
quick
us,
update.
just interrupt me.
quick update, John. It looks like it hasn't been updated, so I've got same screen as you. So
Oh,
comes
so it
up
has
there.
been updated, then you can get in.
Mhm.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, got the same screen as you.
Yeah, because often membership can take a good day for it to get through on Toastmasters International website.
They're half an hour behind. Sorry, 8 hours behind us, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go into Pathways, I just want to show this because this puts it into context. So if I look at the Distinguished Performance Reports, we are in District 71. So I'll pick that up in here. If I go into Club Performance, then we are in Division E. So if I scroll down to Division E, you'll see our clubs in here. East Midlands Speakers, we're in Area 6. So East Midlands Speakers, Leicester City Speakers, Nottingham Robin Hood Speakers, Lincolnshire Speakers, and No Excuses Online Club. So those are the clubs that are in our area. This tells us where each of these clubs are on current performance. So it tells us how many members we started off at the beginning of the year. That's the 1st of July, 2024. This tells us what our membership is currently. So you can see what the membership is of each of those clubs. What this tells you in this next column is how many goals that each of those clubs has got at this moment in time. And these club goals are based on education, which you see here. So this is levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So that tells you how many people have got those levels in that club. This tells you how many members we've achieved this so far this year. So the 4 are in the first half of the year, and the second are the additional members that have come in towards the second part of the year. This column tells you how many officers have been trained. And this column here tells you whether we've paid our dues on time and whether we've submitted information about club officers. So Pathways contributes to the success of each of the clubs as well. So encouraging our members to make progress on Pathways has some impact on the success of the club. So I just wanted to show you that to put into context what we're going to be talking about in a minute with Pathways. So the more of our members that achieve their levels in Pathways, the better results we will get as clubs in numbers of goals. And there are 3 levels of achievement. Clubs that get 5 goals are distinguished clubs. Clubs that get 7 goals are select distinguished clubs. And clubs that get 9 out of the 10 goals are president's distinguished clubs. So each of our clubs is striving towards becoming at least distinguished, and if possible, as good as president's distinguished. But it all rests on the number of members that we get through the levels in Pathways. Does that make sense? Have you got any questions on that?
When's the year start and the year end?
The year starts on the 1st of June 2024. It will end, the 1st of July 2024. It will end on the 30th of June 2025.
So we're already halfway there.
So we're halfway through the Toastmasters year, yeah. In December.
In terms of the goals, I mean, we're already halfway through the goals,
Yeah. So the reason why Pathways is important to members because it helps them achieve their goals, but it also contributes towards the club achieving its goals. Louisa, yes.
So what does the like the president's membership mean for clubs? What benefits does that bring to clubs?
The president.
Yes, like the top level of the
Oh,
like if you yeah.
well, it means that we've got more members through more levels in Pathways.
So, but it doesn't mean that we get any extra benefits to achieving that level, other than if that makes sense. So, like, do we
Well,
get to
yeah,
enter different competitions, for example?
you say that there are incentives that are run by the districts every year. And for example, let me take Robin Hood Speakers because I'm the treasurer there. And Robin Hood Speakers have so far this year earned €150 through membership growth and through getting payments on time. So the two things that Robin Hood Speakers have done is that they've got, well, as you can see here, a significant number of new members, 15. But in addition to that, they got 80% of their members to pay their dues on time, or actually early. And they earned €150 for the privilege. Now, those €150, I mean, I don't know what other clubs do, but we're going to use that to pay for our Christmas do. So there are financial benefits as well if you achieve some of those things. Okay, let me now take you back. I might have to go out of here. Oh no, I'll go into here. Toastmasters, I will. I may have to log out and log back in because it's okay. So we're back into here now. So go back into my home. Now, for those of you that are new to Pathways, if you go into the Learning Hub here, you'll see choose path. Yeah, it does say $20 here, but that's only when you go onto your second path. If you go into choose path, select your language. Our online club has got people from all over the world as members. It's not allowing me to select a language. It is now. And then continue. Here you've got those options. So here you can look at all the paths. So if I click on that, so these are the paths that are available currently. Presentation Mastery. Now, most members are on Presentation Mastery. It's the one that sort of closely represents public speaking, I suppose. My first path was dynamic leadership because I was more interested in some of the leadership issues about Toastmasters. If you're into wanting to engage with humor, then this would be an appropriate path. This one is about motivating others. And this one is about being a bit of a visionary leader and being able to share your vision with other people.
I've not got the dynamic leadership. Sorry, the presentation mastery on mine.
It's here. It says recommended presentation mastery.
No. Where you've got your cursor there, I've got dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influences, persuasive influence, and visionary communication.
Yeah, the reason for that is that because you are a previous member.
Right.
Yeah, you are getting the old paths.
So what have I got extra then that instead of that? The dynamic leadership, engaging humor. Oh, there's another one down there. Right, yeah.
Yeah, but so for example, I mean, several of us that have been around quite a while, we're still working on all of the old paths. And Toastmasters International are likely to allow that to happen for probably another 2 years before they shut down the other paths totally. Any questions on that?
So I've got down for my icebreaker, and on the evening's agenda, I clicked as engaging humour for my path. Is that I just kind of, because I didn't really know what I was doing with them. But that doesn't really matter, does it?
No. It's worth bearing in mind that on each of these paths, the levels 1 and 2 are exactly the same. They don't start to vary until you get onto levels 3, 4, and 5.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But levels 1 and 2 are virtually the same for all paths. Let me go back to the previous bit here, because you can take the assessment. I've mentioned that. See this box here? So before you choose a path, you may want to do the assessment. And the way in which you answer the questions in the assessment, they will probably guide you to which path is the most suitable.
John, if you take the assessment and then you decide you don't fancy that one and it isn't really, you can change it, can you?
You certainly can, yeah.
Yep.
You don't have to take the one that they suggest.
Okay.
You're fortunate you've only got 5 to choose from, 6 to choose from, whereas we used to get 11 to choose from. It's a bit of a challenge. Okay, so I'm going to move back out of here now and move into Basecamp. There are a couple of other things before we go into Basecamp. The navigator is, again, as a newer member, I suggest you go into the navigator and have a look at all the information that's in there. So, you could see this: welcome to Toastmasters, your club, speeches and evaluations, pathways, learning experience, expand your journey. There's other things here that you've got access to as well. So there's lots and lots of stuff behind the scenes in Pathways that you can get more information on, tutorials and various educational things as well.
John, I haven't got Navigator on the main menu. I've got Basecamp, Learning Hub, Achievement Board, and that's it. I've got Leadership Role and other bits and bobs, but I haven't got Navigator on the main menu like you.
Right, let's go back and find.
Neither do I, John.
Yeah, it's here. You should have it. If you go into Learning Hub, it sits here. Look, choose path.
Oh yeah.
Basecamp education programs.
Yeah. Cheers, John.
Yeah. This again gives you, I mean, we've been into education programs, but it gives you an overview of each of the various items. It takes you into some other things here about Speechcraft is something that we run outside of the club, and youth programs are run outside of the club. So there's some other things that you can have a look at some stage. But I'm going to go into Basecamp. I'll go into Basecamp through the other route.
How did you come to the base camp with other route, John?
Well, in the welcome.
Yeah.
It comes up here under education programs, but if you go back to your original welcome site, Basecamp is in there as well. There's about several ways of getting into Basecamp, I think. A bit slow at the moment. I think I've given it too many instructions. Let's go in this way then, if I can. Yeah, if I go in that way, it's taking me back to where we've already been. So I'm going to go back into my home. So you'll see here that this is the main site again. So we're going to Basecamp here. This is my Basecamp, so I'll explain what's on here. This is my next path. I've completed one path already. This is my next path, persuasive influence. When you get to level 2, you can also take the Pathways mentoring program. So this is another program that gives you a qualification for mentoring. This one here is another program that you can do, and this is for people that go into a club that's struggling and help them out, help them to become a more successful club. So there's another program there that you can get, again, a qualification for. This is my completed path, dynamic leadership. So if I click on that, you'll see what sort of information comes up. So you'll see that these are the 5 levels that I've been through. So there's level 1. So I said that level 1 and 2 are very much the same. So level 1 consists of an icebreaker, writing a speech with purpose. So that causes you to say, what's the purpose of this speech? What do I want the audience to do as a result? The third speech is about vocal variety and body language. The fourth speech is about doing a speech and getting an evaluation. And then the fifth speech is about learning from that evaluation and doing the speech again. And that completes level 1. Typically, most levels are about 4 or 5 projects or 4 or 5 speeches. Anybody got any questions on that?
You have to do the icebreaker twice.
You do the icebreaker every time you do a new path. So I'm just about to start my 3rd icebreaker.
Okay. Yeah. No, I understood you to say you get the evaluation and then you repeat the speech.
That's this one here, the evaluation and feedback. So when you've done your icebreaker, your speech with purpose, and your vocal variety and body language, you then do another speech, get feedback from your evaluator, and then you do the speech again using the feedback that you've had. So you're looking at a transition from where you were on the previous speech to seeing that you've put that into practice in the next speech. And that completes level 1. Level 2, and as I said, level 2 is very similar for every path, not exactly the same, because I was doing dynamic leadership. It was about understanding your leadership style, understanding your communication style, introduction to Toastmasters mentoring, and then that completes that level.
And you do all 5 levels in each pathway?
In each path, yeah. Every path has 5 levels. Now, this is where, in my case, things start to vary. So you'll see what I did in level 3 are these. You have one path that you have, one topic that you have to do, and in my case, it was negotiation. And then you've got some electives, which you elect to do. And I did storytelling, inspire my audience. So those were my electives. On level 4, again, you've got one thing that you have to do, which was managing change. And then you have the electives. And I did managing online meetings. And in level 5, I had to do lead in any situation. And then I had to do what have I learned through this path, moderate a panel discussion, and then that completed it. So that gives you some idea of what each level requires and typically most people will take a year to get through a path at minimum.
And what happens when you've completed a pathway then, one of the pathways?
You then pay $20 and get in the next path.
Okay. And you just carry on doing that, building them.
Yeah. The highest accolade is Distinguished Toastmaster. And to become a Distinguished Toastmaster, you have to complete 2 paths and you have to do leadership things. So you have to have been a club leader. You have to have been a district leader, which means a division or an area director. And you have to have done something outside of the club, either a speech craft or a youth leadership program. And then you become a Distinguished Toastmaster.
Right. So 2 pathways and plus those 3 extra tasks. 3 or 4 extra tasks. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But they are doing things outside of the club generally.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Louisa, yeah.
John, can I just clarify at the end of these levels where it says level 2 completion, level 3 completion?
Yeah.
They actually are the administrative bit of completing.
Yes.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not a separate project as such.
No, it's but you have to complete questionnaires. You have to complete a questionnaire on what have you learnt, and you have to complete a questionnaire on how was the path for you. This is Toastmasters collecting information that they want to get, and as you say, it's the administrative stuff. So here's the path completion here. There are 2 things you have to do in path completion. You have to reflect on your path. What have I learnt? How have I applied it? And then you've then got the path completion. And that has to be approved by one of the Basecamp managers, which is the secretary, the VP education, and the president.
Can I ask about so like further on in the level? So sorry, if you would mind scrolling just a tiny bit, please. So for example, with manage change, so is this a project that you need to create and define outside of Toastmasters? It's something that you maybe do in volunteering or through your day job?
Yeah. As I say, bear in mind that these were all associated with the dynamic leadership path. So if, for example, you did something different, you may find that your electives are different as well.
Sorry, it's just because this is one of the ones that I'm toying with. It's literally between 2, and so this has actually been really helpful to see this. So I definitely, sorry, derailing things. Just yeah, I'd love to hear more about it, but maybe I'll catch you at a meeting or something and ask you about that.
Just to cover, in managing change, what I had to do there was demonstrate a project of some sort where I had to define what that project was. I had to engage people who would review my progress on that project, and I had to complete that project and say, did it achieve what I set out to achieve with it?
Okay.
John,
and it could be something in the club. So, for example, it could be about growing membership. We want to grow membership by, I don't know, 10 new members. How are we going to do that? And you've got to have a project team to support you through that process.
Right.
John,
done this 10 years ago.
Do you have a mentor to help you with some of this stuff?
Yeah, she's in the next room.
All right.
You say, yeah, but then again, I've used several people over the years. There are people that I've said I can get on with that person. They can give me some advice on this. So, for example, if I've done contests, then I might have got somebody that I think is pretty good at contests and give me some advice. So, I think there are occasions that you want to dip in and out of different people.
And would you approach that person directly, or would you do it through the mentoring champion?
Well, we never used to have mentoring champions, so we used to have to do it ourselves.
Right, okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
mentoring champions is probably something we've only adopted in clubs in the last 2 or 3 years.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for the information, John. Cheers.
The reason for that is mentoring never became serious until Pathways.
Yeah, I was going to say it's something that's, well, I think for me it's something that I need to do with
Yeah,
Pathways, because it's quite, I mean, I've sort of skimmed on this, and initially it looks quite daunting, and you need someone who's been there and, been through it all, who can advise you.
yeah. I did a speech about mentoring some time ago, and it was based on somebody that's been my mentor or had been my mentor for probably the best part of 40 years. And it was one of the senior managers in the company that I worked in. And we used to meet up, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year after I'd left that company. And we still chatted, and he still asked me, what am I doing? How am I doing it? You know, and I finished my speech on the basis because he just died. And it was a sort of a big wrench for me that here was somebody that knew me inside out for the last 40 years. So, and he was really, really good and a great supporter. And it was him that forced me to do things that maybe I wouldn't have done without his support.
Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
John, I was just having a look because I think I'd previously gone through the assessment and clicked on visionary, mastery, whatever it's called, and then I've just gone on there to see if I can swap it to the basic sort of presentation one, that first one out of the group, but it sort of doesn't want me to allow us to do it. So I just wondered can I deregister once I've registered?
I think once you've selected a path, I don't think it's that easy to change it.
Okay.
Work on the basis that the first 2 levels are going to be the same anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it's not too bad if it's slightly off, but
No,
there'll be some things in there relevant to me, obviously, that because I've done the assessment.
you're going to find the electives as well. I mean, the electives, I think there's probably something like about 15 electives, and you can dip in and out of those in any path.
No problem.
So if you wanted to do, I mean, I'm just thinking of some of the electives are things like, if you wanted to do an online course, there's an elective that does that. So there's all sorts of things that you can pick up on no matter what path you're on.
Yeah, great.
So don't waste your $20.
Yeah.
Let's go back out then, if I can go back to my home. So, as I said, you've got paths and learning here. So, for example, if I'm just starting persuasive influence. So if I clicked on that, it would tell me all the things that I've got to do. I think. Here we go. So it'll tell me what my level 1, and it'll tell me what my level 4 is. Yeah. It'll tell me what my level 3. So, it gives you some idea of the kind of things that I'm going to be doing when I'm on this path. This is the new Basecamp. It's, I think it's pretty slick. This information was never readily available. You had to hunt around for it. What else can I show you? Achievements. Once you started to get on, you can then see what you've achieved. So I can see what my learning badges are. So here's my level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. When you've completed a path, you've got a certificate. So you can get your certificate. The other thing you can do as well is get all of your evaluations logged in. So because this is the new Basecamp, I've only got one evaluation in here that was done by Amit in our club. But you can get your evaluator to post them to your Basecamp. The way they do that is if you see the search up here, if I put in here, so if I put in here, let me put in Tima's name. And then I click on there. It'll bring up Tima, and it would tell me what she's been doing. And it will enable me to post any evaluation on Tima into her Basecamp.
When you've done say you've done your icebreaker, who logs that you've done it? Do you do that yourself, or does
Do it
somebody
yourself.
else?
It's all
You almost
self-log.
tick it. I've done that, tick it off
Yeah.
type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting you say that, you see, because Roma's done level 4 and level 5, and as yet hasn't logged them off. She's gone quiet.
Yeah, I'll get round to it.
So John, Roma has to put my level 4 in it, right? She has to log into my Basecamp, or have I to do?
Yes, you can post. You can post your evaluations to any member of your club.
No, or you can put it in. You say, Tim is referring, I presume, to the evaluation I did for her last week.
Yes,
That's right.
You can put that up onto your profile yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
some people don't bother to put them up, but my view is that if you've got some evaluations, then post them there, and then you can dip in and out of them at any time. Nobody's going to check that you've got all your evaluations for every speech that you've done. Only you. The good thing about Toastmasters is you do everything yourself.
The evaluation has to be on the certain format, right, John?
Yeah, you use the Toastmasters evaluation form.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
I did send you the form, didn't I, Tina? The completed form.
Not really. I just got everything by email, how the whole, the speech was. So I didn't get the proper format.
You should have done. I attached it to the email.
I'll have a check again.
Yeah, it should be there. If it's not, come back to me and I'll send it to you again.
No worries. Thank you.
So again, once you've completed a level, you've got a certificate here. Once you've completed a path, you've got another certificate. Now, what we try and do is get those certificates presented at the club meeting. So as we give some recognition to what people have achieved, and it also hopefully prompts other members to make some progress as well. Here's
Sorry, I was just going to say on the evaluation, John, is it up to the evaluators to fill something in online? Is that responsibility of an evaluator as part of their role?
It is really, yes, but not everybody does it, unfortunately.
Okay, like for example, I was grammarian last week. Should I have, in theory, posted something, or is it more the individual evaluators?
It's the individual evaluations, yeah.
And there is a form.
Yeah, I think here, if you go into the evaluation feedback, here's all your forms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the evaluation resource for your icebreaker.
So there's a scoring mechanism in there, and then there are individual spaces below for you to put some general copy in.
Yeah. You'll see here, it says digital forms are available below. Access the PDF evaluation forms here. So you download the evaluation form. The way things should operate is that when you go on and book a speech, you can actually put the evaluation form in there against your name. Not everybody does that, but you can. If you identify when you've booked your speech on the Toastmasters on the club website, you can put in there the evaluation form as well. I've got a feeling it does it automatically if you write in what path and what level you're on. Again, if you look at resources, there's an awful lot of other stuff available to you as well. Look. Speech basics, focus on the positive, write a communication plan, 360-degree evaluation. When I did leadership, I had to get feedback from people that had worked alongside me on a project. So there's an awful lot of stuff that's really helpful to you.
So ahead of doing a speech, you you can log it to the agenda. Is that the only thing you need to do, or do you have to do it on Basecamp as well ahead of a speech, or do you just do stuff after the speech?
Yeah, the thing I would do is if you want to do a speech, go onto the club website, go into agendas, and go on to quick. I'm trying to think what it's called. Quick team rule, no. Quick.
Evaluation, it says before and after.
No, it's when you go on to book a role.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I normally go through the whole resources on that elective, and then I do prior, and then I evaluate after the speech.
Yeah,
I meant just say if you wanted to just. I mean, I've logged I have logged an icebreaker to the agenda, but I didn't know whether I have to do more than that. I can now add in my pathway into the agenda, I think, but I didn't know whether I have to do something on Basecamp as well ahead of the icebreaker.
No, the best thing, I mean, the thing to do with the icebreaker or any speech is to read what information is available to you, because there's lots of guidance information here. If we go back again to feedback, and if we do icebreaker, look at the icebreaker one. So if I click on that.
Yeah, resources.
Here's the evaluation resource. So the notes for the evaluator. This is what the evaluator should give you, what you excelled at, what you might want to work on, how to challenge yourself. And then you've got all the various aspects of clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures. And you've got a scoring mechanism on here as well for the evaluator. So every speech has got a form like this. You've got a definition about what we mean by, in vocal variety, what does 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 score look like? There's just so much information available.
Yes, I have a question in terms of evaluation, but a lot of people want to be evaluators, and I will have different evaluators. But if I should ask my mentor to be my main evaluator, or no?
No, I would suggest you get your mentor to be your other second evaluator.
Oh, okay.
So you've got a comparison, haven't you? The mentor should understand you a bit better than the evaluator, because you've had some conversation with that person. But it's always worthwhile, I think, to get your speech evaluator and your mentor, if they happen to be at the meeting, to also give you an evaluation as well and do some comparison.
Okay, yeah, it's good idea.
Yeah, and you don't have to accept what people tell you. You certainly, I mean, people have said things to me and I said, well, no, I don't really believe that. I don't think that's going to help me at all. So you can ignore what people are saying in an evaluation. The issue is if 3 or 4 people say the same thing, then there's a fair chance that they're probably right.
Yeah. Yes, okay. Yes, it's a good way to learn, actually.
Yeah. So what else can I show you?
John, how long into the Toastmasters journey do you need to be looking at to getting a mentor, in your opinion?
Well, the thing we suggest in the clubs that I'm involved in is that we encourage the officers to at least buddy up with a new member in the first stage, to help people get started on pathways and to help people understand some of the meeting roles. And that should probably be for the first, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 meetings. And then I would suggest that once you've met some of the members after 3 or 4 meetings, think about who you might want as a mentor.
Okay.
And either approach them directly or do it through the mentor champion.
Right. Okay. No worries.
That would be my advice.
Cheers, John.
anything?
John,
Yeah.
on that as well, what would the general, like, how quickly would you go into the icebreakers? Like, I've just joined, would I be doing the icebreaker in my next session, or would it be 3 or 4 sessions down the line?
Toastmasters International suggests that you should do your icebreaker within 3 or 4 meetings.
Right, okay.
Trying to get a slot in some case. I mean, if you look at Robin Hood, our next meeting at Robin Hood is 8 icebreaker speeches. Because we've had so many new members, we've had to run a sort of an icebreaker-thon, you know, like a bit of a marathon. So I think we've got 7 or 8 people that are all doing their icebreakers next on Wednesday this week. But,
Okay, thank
yeah,
you.
I would suggest you don't leave it too long. Some clubs are quite strict as well, as they won't let you do your icebreaker if you haven't enrolled on a path. And I think that's probably quite a sensible idea. You know, we've got people in our online club who have been with us for 6 months, maybe, and still haven't enrolled on a path.
Do you not need a mentor to do your icebreaker?
Not really. I mean, there's plenty of information on the website. It's useful, I think, if you find somebody to give you some guidance. Tima can explain what we've done in the online club. I mean, we've got 2 or 3 people who have been around quite a while, and they've offered advice to people who are doing their icebreakers. Tima?
Yeah, you can always, you know, when we are at the club next week, we can have a little chat.
Brilliant. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the online club, if you you've not met David yet, you've met Joseph, I think, but you might not have done. You know, they are quite good. If you want a bit of advice for your icebreaker, they'll usually give it to you.
David is good.
Those 2 they've probably done 3 or 4 paths.
Right, brilliant. I look forward to meeting them. I've already got a few people in mind already, so
Okay.
Good.
Yes, I just checked on YouTube, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Can be useful maybe because there are other icebreakers here, so you can watch how it look like, how should look like. Because I think that sometimes it's a bit of a misunderstanding how what icebreaker should be about. It should be about you, but yes, it's not always understood because like people are not introduced to that one. I think that some people don't know and they start very early and they don't know. But yeah, there's quite a lot on YouTube and Toastmasters actually icebreakers. So it's maybe some idea for that as well.
I mean, it's interesting that David's doing his icebreaker for the 3rd time, David.
Yes.
I've lost count how many icebreakers I've done.
Yeah, so you're gonna try and introduce something different about yourself, but you've come into a club where most people don't know you. You know, even though you've been a Toastmaster for 15 years, so whatever you tell them is going to be pretty new to them.
Yeah.
And we know that you used to be a clown.
Yeah, I still am. I don't get paid now.
Yes, maybe Dave should join Robin Hood.
Yeah, I've always said that an icebreaker is really about introducing yourself to the other members in the club. So you can talk about, you know, growing up, you know, particularly if you're growing up in another country, it's often quite good to explain what things were like in the country that you grew up in. Some people will talk about their education. Some people will talk about their career. Some people will try and cover all of that in an icebreaker. But it really is about making sure that the other members get to know you. People don't like talking about themselves sometimes, generally, do they? It's often the thing you know best, but maybe the thing that you like to talk about least. But anything else? I was anxious to make this just an hour, this session, so I don't know whether there's anything else that I can show you. As I say, we've done a fairly quick run through, but I just wanted to demonstrate really that there's a lot of information here. It's relatively easy to navigate. There's tons of stuff you can tap into. It has some logic, so if you look here, this is the powers that you're working on, this is what you've achieved, this is what feedback you've got, and here's all the resources in terms of evaluation forms and things of that nature.
Yeah, I think I spoke too soon, John, because I don't think they have got them on. It's still asking me to join, but I have been able to follow some of it. So yeah.
Okay. If I can come out of here now and then just answer any other questions that you may have. Anybody?
No, I have no any.
So
just wanted to add here, what I have enjoyed is on my pathways, coming down to each pathway, I've enjoyed the resources where I have done something before, as far as listening to what the mentors had to say and doing the questionnaire. And then after my speech, I did another resource where I looked into the questionnaire and I answered where I went wrong and how I did. And that helped me.
Tima's last speech was a question and answer session. So she gave a speech on wine tasting. And then we answered, we challenged her by throwing some questions at her. There's another one going on at East Midlands Speakers on next week, where somebody's giving a speech and members will interrupt them. And it's how they deal with those interruptions. Anybody that's done a speech in a sort of a public arena will recognize that occasionally people would chip in, barrack, ask questions when you didn't expect questions to be thrown at you. So it's about how they handle those kind of challenges. Now I think that's a sort of a level 4 speech. I think Tima's was a level 4, the Q&A.
Yeah, I enjoyed it actually. It just gave me a confidence now that I'm ready for level 5.
Yeah. So anything
else? John, I think I'm having a technical issue on my end. I'm going on to my home, and then I'm clicking go to Basecamp, and then it's referring me to the membership renewals. So I don't know if the website knows that I'm a member yet or not.
It should do, because I put you on earlier. When did I put you on? A couple of days ago?
It was Friday, wasn't it? Yeah.
There often is a gap between you getting full access to the site, but you should be able to see all the things that I've shown you today.
I've not been able to see that online.
If you have a problem, come back to me and I'll try and ascertain what the issue is.
Yeah.
George, when I selected my pathway, it was doing the same thing with me. And then I checked it the following morning and then it was all sorted.
Right, I just need to give it a few hours then, because I've only just selected my pathway, so that makes sense.
Probably it, yeah.
I think it's you've got, until you've selected a path, you probably don't get access to all the other things.
Yeah. Okay, let's give it some more time, and I'll let you know if it struggles in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So if I select my path now, which I've kind of selected on the agenda, so I just kind of follow it through on here. I just go straight to that pathway that I've chosen as my first path. And then there's an icebreaker associated with that, and just get that out of the way and then move on from there. On next meeting, I put myself down as an evaluator for Francis. So that will show up somewhere on this part of my pathway, won't it? Or some kind of pathway.
It will only show up if he puts into his Basecamp that you're his evaluator, and it will only show up when you post his evaluation to his Basecamp, or you send it to him and he posts it.
Does that get accredited to me on my track, my path, whatever it is? Does that show up there? Do you have to do so many evaluations as part of your? Because you used to, didn't you? You used to be like a leadership. Yeah.
You used to have to.
Are you required to do so many evaluations to get you through a pathway, or does that happen now?
No.
And if you did say Toastmaster for the evening or something like that, or topics, they don't count.
Well, if you look at levels 3, 4, and 5, you may find that there's something in there about managing a meeting. Now, of course, being a Toastmaster is that, isn't it? So, there are things that you do in the club that will contribute to a level 3, 4, or 5 project.
Right, yeah, but not specifically, yeah.
No.
Okay, thanks.
No. No, you're right. Is that, I mean, the old David is familiar with the manuals that we used to use, and to achieve, they had something called competent leader, and to get competent leader, you had to do all the roles in the club effectively, didn't you? Whereas that there isn't that kind of requirement now. But by doing roles in the club, like evaluation, there's certainly an elective about giving feedback. So an evaluation is that elective.
I have a question about the repeating a speech. Could you theoretically go to a different club to have a fresh audience, or do you need to do it in front of the same audience?
No, you can do that. The issue is if you go to another club, you might not get a speech slot because the members will come first. Some people belong to more than one club, like I do, which means I've got 3 opportunities to do a speech in 3 different clubs. So if you're wanting to make rapid progress, then that may give you an opportunity. But it's not a race. I've always said is that those people that rush through probably don't learn as much as those that take their time. They learn from other people doing speeches as well as doing their own.
That's lovely, thank you. That's something I definitely need to learn, is how to slow down.
Well, my first path took me probably 3 years.
Okay.
But I had done all the other stuff before, as David has done. So, I've probably done best part of 30, 40 speeches over 15 years.
A lot.
But still plenty to learn. That's the issue. And I still deliver a bad speech. Don't assume that practice makes perfect.
I don't worry.
Okay, we are an hour, so hopefully you found that useful. If people want to hang on and let me just bring up a club website and just show you a bit about booking speeches, I can do that. Don't know whether that'd help.
I've had a look. I'm familiar, so I'll leave you now. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, David.
Bye, David.
All right. Yeah. So if you wanted, I could bring up a club website and just quickly take you through booking a speech on there or booking a role on there.
Yeah, that'd be handy. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll do the no excuses one if that helps.
Yeah.
Right. Let me bring that up. Where are we? Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
So again, you log in here. I'm going to log in as site admin because I can get in easy by doing that. But you would log in as a member. So you'll see here that our next meeting is on Tuesday, 3rd of December. If you go to meeting agendas, you'll see where the agendas are. So here are your various roles. I mentioned here is that if you book a speech, so you go in and book a speech, so you'd press on the pencil here, and that would then enable me to book myself in for it. You know, if I wanted to do timekeeper, I could go in here, find my name, and log myself in as timekeeper. To book a speech, so you'll see the speeches here, speaker 3, speaker 2, speaker 1. So you'll see who's down book for speeches. So speaker 1's unassigned. You can put yourself in there and then save.
Does it not ask you what type of speech you're booking in?
You can, yes. If I go back and show you now, if I close that, go back to agendas, you'll see here that so Benjamin is doing his icebreaker. You can put in here your path and project. So if you click on that, it tells you I mean, it'll bring up mine here because I've dynamic leadership. So here you can put in your particular project. You can give it a project title. You can put your speech intro in there, which would be used by the Toastmasters to introduce you on the night.
Brilliant. That's really good to know. Cheers, John.
Now, there is a quicker way of doing that. So if you use the quick role sign up, that was the thing that I was talking about earlier on. I think I've got to log in as an individual to do that, though. Yeah, I'd have to log in as a member. But if you go into quick role sign up, you can very quickly pick a role or pick a speech. You don't have to go through the agenda as I've just done.
Good to know.
I'm going to try and do that. It depends on whether I know my member login. No, that's not right. All right. So yes, so if I go into quick role sign up, so this is what you've got now. You can say, yes, I'm going to attend, or I'm uncertain or unknown. You can select a role. So you can see what's available. So you can log on there and select a role. And you can set your attendance. Yes, I'm going to be there. So that's a very quick way to actually pick a role in the club.
Okay.
But to do speeches, you're going to have to go through the meeting agendas.
Okay, right. Well, that makes sense. How do we get a link for every week, though? Does it automatically come in the email?
Say that again, sorry.
How do we get a link for every week? I mean, every fortnight, sorry.
What, for the club website?
What I'm saying is, we get a Zoom link for every fortnight for when the meeting's
Yes.
on. Does that come automatically in an email or not?
It will appear in WhatsApp first, probably.
Right, okay, that's good to know. Brilliant. That's all I
Well,
need
in
to
our
know.
club, it relies on me to send it out, or Joseph, who's our Zoom master.
Right, okay.
So I normally send it out probably a few days before.
Right, brilliant. Cheers, John.
If I remember, I'll send it out as an email and I send it out in WhatsApp.
Right, good.
This is quite useful because, I can see that George came on 7 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So this tells you who's been using
Yeah.
the website. And if I go down to the bottom here, Antonio, who's a member, he's in Spain. He's not been on the website for 676 days.
Yeah.
Some people don't use the website. We encourage them to use it, but some people will just send an email to Isabel or try and book on in other ways.
Mm.
But we try and encourage everybody to use the website if possible.
Okay.
Okay, so that gives you a sort of, again, another quick run through.
Brilliant. That was really helpful.
All right.
Cheers, John.
Okay, so thanks very much for coming on. If you get any questions when you get back and start playing around with things yourself, just give me a buzz and I'll try and resolve them for you.
All right. Thanks very much.
All
See you
right.
later, George.
Take
I
care.
appreciate it, John. See you later, Neil.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Enjoy evening,
See you
guys.
very much. Bye.
Bye.